First of all, before I start, I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you for coming out and hearing our stories. And we really appreciate it. And I always say that it's a hug that goes both ways. We feel a lot of people say we want to hug Israel. I say I want to hug all the people here because we support each other. My name is Shanni. I come from Kibuttz Zikim. If you can imagine the map of Israel, if you go down the Mediterranean beach, there's Tel Aviv, then there's Ashdod, then there's Ashkelon, and then there's Gaza. Right before you hit the city of Gaza, 1 kilometer up, there is Kibuttz Zikim on that corner. And you have the beach, you have an army base, and you have the kibbutz. And up to October 7th, we said that it was living in a place that's 95% heaven, 5% hell. Anyone that lived in the Gaza envelope would tell you the exact same thing. For us, even though we lived very close to Gaza, even though we had rockets once in a while, our personal sense of security was really, really, really high. We felt safe. And the night before, on October 6th, it was a holiday, and all the young people of the kibbutz, 12-year-old kids, took their skateboards and went running around the kibbutz with their skateboards. My 12-year-old daughter took her skateboard, and as she was leaving the house, she said, "Mom, don't worry, if there'll be rockets," with this handshake, "if there'll be rockets, we'll run to the safe shelters, and then we'll grab our skateboards and come home. It's fine. Bye." And she left. And all the young 12-year-old kids of kibbutz were out and about the kibbutz until 3 o'clock in the morning. All the parents went to sleep because if there'll be rockets, the kids know where to run to the safe areas. And that's our lives up to that point. We felt safe. On October 7th, 6 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I started getting dressed and organized to take my bike and to go on my Saturday morning bike ride. My route is always the same. I go from the kibbutz to the beach, to Netiv HaSara, to the Erez border crossing, to Kibbutz Erez, and back through the nature reserve to Zikim. Always felt very safe riding by myself. There were a lot of other bikers or joggers or people that took their morning walk on that path and that route. And we all said good morning, and everybody was happy and waved. There were always army cars passing, and you stop, you wave hello, you say good morning. And at that morning, at 6:15 in the morning, as I'm getting dressed, I stick my head out of the window, and I realize that, yes, it is hot, but it's not as hot as it was last week. You know, in Israel in the summer, it's hot, it's dusty, you want to leave the house as early as possible. And I made a decision, and I said, it's not as hot. I'm going to give myself an extra 10 minutes to drink another glass of water, to organize some things, and then I'll leave the house. By 6:30, I'll leave the house. That decision to give myself an extra 10 minutes saved my life.
Amen.
If I would have gone out as planned, like I did the week before, I would not have been here today or been alive, because everybody that went out on that route was killed. At 6:29 exactly, the doors to hell were opened and a rainfall of rockets started. I was awake, my husband jumped up, we grabbed our 2 kids, ran down to the safe room. Rockets are flying all the time. And rockets is something that we're used to. In the beginning, we thought, boy, it's a lot of rockets, but we didn't really have an idea how bad it's going to get. At 7 o'clock, we lost communication. A lot of parts of my story we found out only afterwards, and then we could connect the dots. Apparently, there was a cyber attack on the northern part of the Gaza border, and we had no communications. Now, imagine now if you lose your phone for an hour. You'll feel very, very stressed, and because our entire lives are on the phone. Now Now imagine losing your phone under fire with rockets, not knowing what's going on, not being able to communicate. And rockets are flying overhead. Any rocket that goes towards the city of Ashkelon, there's an iron dome located between, there's an iron dome located between Ashkelon and Kibbutz. And when a rocket comes out of Gaza and an iron dome comes to meet it, it explodes directly over Kibbutz and our house, and then we get a rainfall of debris. At a certain point, the iron dome ran out of ammunition, and now rockets are starting to fall inside the kibbutz and all around the kibbutz. 2 rockets hit my street. One rocket hit 10 centimeters, which is about this much, from 2 barbecue gas balloons. The rocket didn't explode, the balloons didn't explode. That was another miracle. We have a lot of miracles going on that day. The other rocket hit my neighbor's car directly. No miracle there, that exploded. And both me and my husband are medics, and I stayed with the kid, but he ran out to see if someone was hurt and if someone needed assistance. They put out the fire, and someone from the emergency response team came up to him and asked him to bring his car because we have people that are wounded and they would like him to assist evacuating them. At that point, we split. I'm with my kids in the house, rockets all the time, and my husband is out. We're starting to hear different noises of ammunition go off that we're not used to hearing and that we don't recognize. Later on did we find out that these are grenades and RPGs being shot towards the kibbutz and towards people in the kibbutz. And something big is happening around, but we have no cell phones. And rockets are falling. In Kibbutz, a lot of the people have a suitcase in their car, always. In the winter, with winter clothes, in the summer, with bathing suits and summer clothes. And some of the families, when rockets used to start, used to run under fire under rockets into their cars and drive out of the kibbutz, so the kids don't experience the rockets for long. But now, things have changed. There are terrorists all around the kibbutz, but we don't have any cell connection. And you can't tell the people you can't leave your houses because there are terrorists around the kibbutz. So my husband and someone else were asked to run door to door in the entire kibbutz and notify people they're not allowed to leave the kibbutz until further notice because there are terrorists all around. So this is what they did for a few hours, passing messages and just running all over the place. And meanwhile, there's fighting going on in different areas. They tried bombarding the fence about 200 meters from my house. And luckily for us, this is another miracle we learned about only afterwards. A Navy observer picked up the phone and called the head of security of the kibbutz and gave him a 2-minute heads up, saying that there are a lot of terrorists coming through the ocean. Some of them passed the Navy, and they're heading towards the kibbutz, towards the army base, and towards the beach. That phone call gave him an extra 2 minutes to send his guys out to the fence. Now, you have to understand that the emergency response teams that they talk about in the different kibbutzim, these are guys from the ages of 25 to 70 that train 2 days a year, and they're supposed to give the initial response until the army or help comes. These are not soldiers that fight every day. These are regular people